Yo, 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 happy new year. I know I have seen you once this year, but what a good start. Hope you're all having a fantastic start to the week. I see the markets have been absolutely erupting in 2023. Let's not speak about the minus 95% 2022. Let's be positive. It's a new year. Great start, guys. Great start. Not going to lie. If we have a look over here, we have a few major moves within the altcoins. We have Lido doing up to 65%. We have Solana doing up to nearly 50% within the last week. We have ZIL doing up to 61%. And if we look at the last day, all of a sudden, we're getting many of these altcoins coming to life very, very quickly. Yet Bitcoin has only just crossed 17,000. Now, what we're going through in the show is I'm going to go through some of the bigger tokens now, the ones that have been moving a lot. We need a little bit of an update of what's happening out there and why are these tokens pumping. Because right now, I see gaming. We had Gala games absolutely erupt. We had Nakamoto games absolutely erupt. We have Sand and Mana decentralized. These tokens are right at resistances. And all of a sudden, we're getting a huge interest within gaming. Now, gaming is definitely playing a big role in the market starting to erupt. And we're starting to get a few other categories. We have AI. AI. All of a sudden, this is coming to life fast. I see it's hitting fast. What was that app that they said? Up to ChatGPT of up to 1 million users, one of the quickest times ever. Like this AI thing is going crazy. So remember, we went through a last bull run, and the last bull run was DeFi, it was NFTs, it was all of these things. Don't be surprised if there are new narratives coming out now, and these can be nice little sparks for the market to gain and get where they need to quickly. Now, it's very important. We need to understand that the market has just come off of a huge drop. It's come off of a crazy year. And what we're going to tend to see this year is a lot of ranging. Don't be surprised to see many of these percentages quite often. You're going to see many of these tokens moving in these areas. And remember, this is not just bull run. A bull run's different. A bull run, a token does 1,000, 2,000, 3,000% in a couple of months. Okay, right now you're gonna get these 50% moves that come all of a sudden every 2-3 weeks. You get these tokens that just do these crazy things, but expect that this market's gonna range for a little while. Now, this is powerful, guys, because not only do we have time for our longer portfolios to make us gains over the next 2-3 years, it's gonna take time for that to happen. But the accumulation stage right now and the money and the building up portfolio through these stages are absolutely, it's incredible that we actually have time. And then I was thinking again, that I think last year, 2022, was the big year of drop. I don't think it's going to be worse this year. May there be a new low? Yes, I've said it before. There could be a possible new low, but I don't think we're going to have more destruction than what was caused. But what excites me is I remember when I started in 2020, that funness of literally starting from the bottom and riding a 2-year wave. It's crazy. It's going to be the most craziest 2-3 years of your life when we start off from these ranges. But the best way now is for us to build. So I'm going to go through the big tokens. I'm then going to jump to higher time frames to see where we are with Bitcoin, because I don't think Bitcoin is safe just yet. And obviously, we have two major factors coming in this week. We have Powell speaking tomorrow night, and then we have interest rates coming up. Now, think about it, guys. Markets have been pumping over the last few days now. We only buy pullbacks. We don't chase the pumps. And remember those support trend lines that I teach you guys? We're starting to get far from those. And I'm going to teach you a little trick that when we start to get far from support, rather focus on the other end of TPing or taking profits on these trades more than just adding just yet. We like to buy when we're back on those areas. So I'm going to go through all of those for you guys. And obviously, I think the Powell speech or something is going to cause a possible quick pullback to obviously load up on what's going to move next, because this is crazy. It's crazy to see the amount of tokens that are erupting. No more wasting time. It was a long intro, but I missed you guys, and I'm ready for 2023. James, smash the button!
Click, click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click, click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter with visor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click, click, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror, mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, sharpshooter advisor. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper.
Yo, Banter fam. Hope you have a fantastic day. If you're new, smash the subscribe button. If you're part of the family, smash the like button. Do me another favor. We got into a habit now of going through many of the comments after. So please comment below what tokens you want me to speak about. Today, I'm going to do it very simply. I'm going to give an update. We're going to look at one or two possible trades. I think there's a decent short coming at some point. But I'm going to spend the rest of the week focusing and downing down on where we can make trades, where we can make lots of money. I think today we've got to update and start making some decisions within our portfolio. Look at what's moving, how we're going to categorize and sort of shift our portfolios within this time, because it's starting to get exciting again. It is starting to get very exciting to see these moves. Now, guys, first thing, remember, sad. Sniper school is closed. No more. We already have a waiting list of up to 3,800 people that never got in on this last cohort. So Sniper school is now shut down. But we do have a next one coming in Feb. So if you do want to be in a waiting list, remember we have this video over here. The school, you can go sign up. In order to get into the school, you sign up with one of our referral links below, which you'll find in the description. You basically open an account that you're going to trade with anyway, and you've got to deposit $100 that you get to trade with. If you use a Bitget, OKX, Binance, or BYBIT account, it gets you into our school. It then also gets you into our Discord, a powerful Discord that we want to put a lot more effort in within this year. Many different calls. We even have the newsletter, guys. Newsletter is also upgrading a lot. We pumped. We just had a banter meeting this morning, and we are pumped for this year. It felt like we went through many hurdles last year, but I felt like we finally got good structure that we can really take this community and become the most profitable community. That is our goal. So,
Sheldon, would you mind just logging out and coming back in again? Your audio is just a little bit delayed. We can cut it out later.
Okay. Are you going to keep them entertained?
Yes, of course.
Okay. I shall be back.
Nice. Sorry, guys. I'm going to cut this out later. Just can't watch a whole show with like 1 second audio delay. I'm on the show, actually.
Talk, James. Tell me.
David wants to be on as well. Let's just talk again.
Yo.
Cool. We're good. Thank you.
Amazing. Okay, guys, let's jump into it now. We're nearly 10 minutes in. How are you guys feeling, by the way? Pop in the comments. How are we doing? How was your holiday? My holiday was great. I had a good time with the family, rebooted, reset. I just realized I took a lot on last year, and now it's time for me to take on no more and build. I took on so much last year. I got to run 4 businesses this year, and I'm like, whoa, what's going on here? So this is the year for us to continue the building. Last year was setting the foundation. Remember, you got to build your foundation to build your tower. And if that foundation has 1 or 2 cracks, your whole tower can fall down at any point. Thank you guys for... Yes, I'm getting married. We're busy prepping a wedding. I'm getting married. I decided to do so much in the matter of 2 years. Just everything. Why not? Let's just throw in everything. Let's have a baby. Let's move to a city alone. Let's become a YouTuber. Let's get married. Let's do everything in 2 years. Let's just make it all happen. Feeling crap. I missed it. Don't worry. You missed nothing. Let me show you a chart here quickly while we're on this topic over here, because you're saying I missed it. Let me show you the weekly chart on Bitcoin. Here's the weekly chart. Right now, still in a descending wedge as we speak. So to sit and say we missed it, no, get out of that mindset. We're going to be here for a while, and the market's going to range like this for a while. You're going to have pumps of 50% within altcoins. You can have dumps within 30, 40% within altcoins. Expect it, get used to it, that the market is going to range for a while. It's crazy that these little 2 weekly candles from Bitcoin, it's tiny. We've seen way bigger moves. I saw that we hit our lowest, I think it was volume and volatility in a long time for Bitcoin. But these little 2 weekly candles, created all of this. Boom! All of a sudden. So get used to it. Get used to that the market is going to range like this for a while. And it's so important for you to time your entries correctly. And it's so important for you to take profits correctly throughout these times. Now, I gave you guys the message, and I said, what I've done with my long-term portfolio. And I suggest you guys start off this year strong and make sure you have some structure and understanding in your life. I've locked away 60% of my capital in ETH and Bitcoin through that time, because my long terms, I just don't trust the market for long term just yet. But what I have is 30% to use all of these crazy ass moving tokens to accumulate as much Bitcoin, ETH, and a few of the tokens that you believe in, no problem. But you have so much opportunity now to accumulate throughout these times, because look at this. It's crazy. It's crazy. So I want to explain to you, you said there's not much time. There's definitely a lot of time when it comes to this. Now, let's actually speak about Bitcoin quickly on the higher time frame, and then I'll start zooming in and jumping into the smaller, all the moving tokens and what's basically happening out there. So right now, as you can see with Bitcoin, it had a terrible week within November, where we really engulfed all the hard work that we've been trying to reclaim since that previous low of around about the $17,000 region. Got absorbed very quickly. And now what we're basically doing is, on a high time frame, we are busy building a bullish pattern as we speak. Okay. And what a bullish pattern is a down, what the descending wedge to the downside. And basically it accumulates within this wedge. This wedge does indicate to us that we are very clearly making lower highs, which we can see very much over here. And it's basically still indicating that as long as we are in this wedge, we can just continue these sort of momentums and these sort of runs. I'm trying to see why my things aren't showing there. There we go. So as long as we are still in this wedge, don't be hypnotized that we are in this bull market and crazy thing just yet. We are clearly just ranging. And as long as we stay in this wedge over here, it's still indicating lower highs and lower lows, and still indicating that the possible 13K Bitcoin is still possibly available. Now, a big shift for us, and where I'm sort of seeing on the higher time frame now where Bitcoin's heading at right now, is it's basically moving its way to this previous resistance over here. So around about the 18,000, 18,500 is more or less the really critical area that I still think the bears are going to try offload and still try hold and reclaim these sort of levels. Who's this man? Who invited this guy? Was it you, Craig?
Yo!
Who invited? Happy New Year! Happy New Year! Dude. I want to sit here. How amazing. How amazing. We've only but made money in 2023. Only but just been making money.
Listen.
Ignore the last year, 95%. Ignore that.
You know, if you look at December, nothing happened in December. The whole of December, nothing happened. The day we get back to work, bro, the day we get back to work, it's a sea of green, bro. It's a sea of
green.
And it's the right green. It's Solana. It is Near Protocol. It is Lido. It is, I mean, it's all of our tokens, bro. I mean, dude, what a day.
It is. It's obviously Solana. I'm actually pretty happy that it's getting back to some sort of levels, because it was getting quite depressing. When it hit $8, I was like, bro, what are we gonna do? This thing's hitting $8. And you were like, do a show, Sheldon. Do a show today and tell them Solana. Tell them Solana. I remember you said that.
You remember that? I phoned you and I said, Sheldon, please, I'm not doing a show today. Go live and tell them to buy Solana. Do you remember?
Tell them to buy Solana. Yes.
Go live, tell them to buy.
I told them. I did tell them.
People are saying I must go away. It's Sheldon's show. So you can on the show. When you're done, I'll jump in. We'll have some fun.
Okay. Amazing. Okay. Let's jump in and let's get moving. So I'm going to go through this quite quickly, guys. So like I was saying, high time frame right now, I'm expecting a bit more upside, then slight rejection, pull back down. And I'm basically expecting the same thing coming from dominance. Dominance right now is tanking pretty hard. But ultimately, if we have a look here on the higher time frame with dominance, it did indeed make a higher high. And for me, it's doing the exact same thing as Bitcoin. It's ranging. And I'm expecting dominance to range for another few months, to be honest, where it's basically going to just be this influx of love for Bitcoin, love for altcoins, love for Bitcoin, love for altcoins. So if we had to look at this little, go for it.
I'm just listening.
Oh, you're listening live. Amazing. So as what it's showing now, guys, with this little support trend, is showing that right now, this little altcoin move that's happening is definitely backed by dominance, and it's looking that there's a possibility of still some more continuation within altcoins at the moment. So it means the altcoins are still catching up throughout these times. And when the market is obviously turning bearish, we do know it works in the opposite. This dominance I'm expecting to go up. So we're still forming in that sort of momentum, and the same thing sort of moving. So this is nice. It's nice to see that dominance is not going in one direction. Then that's where it starts to...
Can I make one comment when you're talking about dominance?
Go for it.
You notice that when the market went down the dominance went down, went up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The minute that Bitcoin woke up, and I mean, if we look at this pump in Bitcoin, everyone's celebrating, but this pump is less than 1%.
No, it's tiny, bro. It's nothing.
Okay. And look what happened. And look what happened to dominance.
Tank.
And then what you got to do is you got to look at what happened to the other tokens. So like Bitcoin went from 69 and Solana was at $13. And then it went to 17,263 and Solana shot up to $17.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with like, you take, I don't know, let's just take Fantom, Arweave. They were sitting at 21, Fantom sitting at 21 cents. Bitcoin breaks less than 1%. Bang. You've got Fantom back at 25 cents. You got Arweave back at 764. It's telling you that these tokens are coiled up. And as soon as they feel some kind of confidence in the market, the coil is going to get released. And when that coil gets released, you got to know, you got to be ready for when the coil gets released. What is it going to be?
That's a big question. I think that's a big question. And it's quite interesting to see how gaming all of a sudden came to life. And like, we're speaking about AI. I don't know what your thoughts on AI, but I think it's one thing that's going to be, you know, we were speaking about NFTs and DeFi being the last runs. You know, these were new things that came in the last bull run. You know, what's coming in the next one? What's the new narrative? What's the new? I think AI has got to be.
Well, we're going to talk about AI today. And I think there's probably a lot of money to be made in AI. But I think there's also going to be a lot of money to be lost in AI. And I'll tell you why I think, I'll tell you where.
Same as NFTs. It's going to be like experiment. Like there's
exactly.
Same as NFTs.
Exactly. What's going on now is everybody got so excited because of this chatbot, this chat.open AI, which is amazing. I mean, chatbot is amazing. And everyone now thinks, wow, AI is really going to work. And it is going to work. But that doesn't mean that all the whole AI sector in the crypto market needs to pump. Because most of those are going to go up and they're going to come straight down because most of them are just hot air. Maybe one or two of them will actually will be the ones that survive. So you've got to be super careful when you're getting into AI. I do think
I do. But what I think is now, especially the community we have now, these guys have been through war with us and they've been through. We no longer characterize yourself as the newbies now in the market. You've been through some war. But I think for AI, I think they can bring a lot of retail. I think what they did to NFTs, where they just brought in a whole bunch of not stupid money, but like unresponsible spending. I think AI might do something like that for us. We know it's destruction for us. We're now ahead of the rest and the community is ahead of the rest, but maybe it's a good thing. Maybe it brings some money. Maybe it brings some excitement, more excitement to crypto. Maybe it just brings, we'll just be the ones selling into the stupid buying. That's the sad reality of crypto. But maybe it brings a spark. We need another spark, bro. I don't know what, we've been speaking about what's going to be the next catalyst. I think we need a new interesting narrative. We need a new something that goes beyond NFTs, something that just brings this whole new like spark to crypto, especially the younger generation. And I think AI has definitely got to be. I just see pictures all over the internet, all over it. And have you done yours? I want to see how RUNE looks as AI.
I'm trying to actually open it for us, but I wrote to the chatbot. I said to the chatbot, write me a trading course. In fact, you carry on going, and I'm actually going to log in. I'm actually going to show you. I'm actually going to log in, and I'm going to do it for you. You carry on. I'm going to show you something unbelievable. You'll go crazy.
Okay.
Finish the chat.
You go. Okay. Amazing. So guys, obviously dominance, and reason why dominance for me. So a little bit more downside, and then I expect a bounce, and I basically just expect this to bounce, which just falls back to our understanding. Market's going to range. Tons of gains to the upside, big drops at points, and we got to trade the range. Very important. So split your portfolios, make up your mind what you're not touching now for the next 2-3 years, what you're accumulating, and then give yourself a business. Give yourself something that we can trade these ranges and learn the skill. And remember, I'm going to say this again, match whatever structure or strategy you need in your life with the simple time frame. If you only got time to trade once a month, use a daily. If you want to trade twice a month, use a 12-hour. If you want to trade 4 times a month, use an 8-hour. Just find a time frame and stick to that. People get very confused. Use a stochastic RSI and use trend lines. Just use that and trade. People get confused because they trade their small portfolios on daily things and they get themselves mixed up. So just make it easy. This year is about being easy and simplified for you to kill it. That's how it should work. So match it and just have a basic understanding. Now, a big reason on the high time frame is Ethereum, Bitcoin. This is the reason why I think dominance is tanking this hard as well. And I believe that Ethereum
chart in crypto bar none is this chart over here.
Yes, this is huge.
Important chart in crypto bar none.
It is. This is a big one. This is a really big one on the high time frame. This is something that takes ETH to crazy levels. This is for me a huge cup and handle when it comes to monthly, and ultimately could result in ETH outperforming, I would probably say in 2023, if it continues this momentum, of up to 60% over Bitcoin within this year, wherever Bitcoin decides to go. So ETH is a big player, and I think it was the start of that dominance starting to come down, which is great. And it just falls same thing back to the narrative that I think ETH's going to control that dominance. I think the big worry for us with altcoins when the market's in a bear market was that dominance going to go back to 50%? Was it going to go to higher levels again? And I think ETH is a huge one we need to thank, because I think it's going to keep it controlled. I think it's going to keep dominance to 42, 43, bring it back down to 40, and basically range in that format. So I think ETH is a big player. And for me, like I said, in the long term, I have more ETH than Bitcoin. I think it's going to do incredible throughout these times. Now, let's actually speak about a few of the big tokens. And I want to go through some higher time frame views here quickly. The first one was Gala Games. Something that I spoke about, and I gave the buy, I think 4 days ago in my last show. You should be around 60% up, throughout those times. But I want to remind you again that the market is ranging, and these pumps are going to come quite often. Previously we had a run from Gala Games that gave a 62% gain throughout these times. This time of year, it gave up to a 45% gain. And right now it's doing one of those moves again. Now, what it has done is it has broken, obviously, a weekly downwards trend. Remember what I said about Bitcoin forming a bullish trend to the downside. So the market's going down, but ultimately forming a bullish pattern. And you could see over here that as soon as this breaks, how we start to get the momentum. Now, I want to remind you again that we do have the gaming category picking up. And I feel that you're going to be able to shift. Okay, right now we have the Gala and we have Nakamoto. Anyone that bought Nakamoto that I gave, I think it was about 3 months ago, you should be close to 200% up. And it's the same thing, a downwards pattern is basically forming. But what we are seeing is we're not getting all of the games erupting at once. And I kind of feel it's going to be a beautiful strategy for you to ride off of some of them and shift into the next ones that are going to move. And what I'm coming down to is don't be afraid now to take profits within these tokens and look for the next one to shoot, or you get a massive accumulation of a farming opportunity. So for me, Gala has a possible little bit more upside to the first resistance. It does have one more possibility to that area. But when I look at the Bitcoin charts, I only see Bitcoin possibly raging up to 18. I still think they're going to try hold that level. And then I think a possible pullback back to 17 or 16.5. And if I match that into my altcoin strategy right now, it basically gives me a little idea of this is a nice little news pump that's happening right now, and everyone's jumping in. But a lot of fish are going to get eaten again over here. And I think I'm going to see basically a little pattern like this, and then possibly to those areas, and basically range throughout these times. So for me, Gala Games has a little bit left. It's not worth buying. In my opinion, the time for it to buy is probably around 40% lower than what it is right now. So be very careful of getting caught in these traps, but start prepping yourself to take some profits on that. And it's the same thing with NAKA. NAKA for me has got a little bit more upside, another 10, 15%. And ultimately the buying target is another 40% lower from where it is at now. So be very patient for those. But the way I play this now is I just made money on NAKA and I just made money on Gala, right? And I'm looking to TP out now. It's no buying time right now. The buying time will come in the next week or 3 weeks from then. But then I go and I look at I'm still interested in the gaming segment though. And then I go look at Decentraland. Same pattern, but behind, delayed. And what I'm expecting here, is if I can get into a beautiful habit of using these tokens to accumulate tons of dollars and then load up whatever you want in the long time frame. But ultimately, look at this now. Decentralized still in the wedge right now. Now, by me taking some profits on Gala, taking profits on Nakamoto, amazing. And ultimately, only if those are back in buy zones can I get back in. But then I look at the next ones and I'm seeing that these gaming ones are warming up too. So keep your eye on Decentraland. Decentraland on the weekly chart is coming up. I'm expecting, maybe with Powell's speech, I'm just looking at it for now. I'm expecting a small rejection at some point and a little cool down for 2-3 days within the market. And then I'm expecting other gaming tokens to start breaking. So this one, for me, you can only wait till the end of the week to get the confirmation on the higher time frame to see if we close outside this trend. But when we break this long trend over here, Decentraland's the next one for me. The next one to do a similar move as what Gala Games has just done. First 50%, after that it's a lot higher. But let's look at the first one. The next one is the same thing, sand. So do you see how you can be very smart in this market? Don't chase the pumps. Look at what's next. So for me, my next two major gaming tokens that I'm looking at after Gala and NAKA, I'm focused on TPing on those right now, is Sand and Mana. Decentralized Mana. Sorry, I'm a South African boy. And it sounds like an Afrikaans move. Now let's speak about the next one, Solana. So Solana obviously hit the $8 mark and now ripping 100% up from the lows. Crazy. I was still hoping for $4 to $6, but $8 I suppose was a crazy area for it to get, and it was a sweating area as well. But let's look at it now. Remember what I spoke about when a token gets very far from a trend, from the momentum. This was the momentum that Solana was moving in. Very simple with the trend line, and we started to get very far from it. And when you start to get far from it, this is like a magnet. It's basically a magnet that attracts it at different times. And what we're starting to get now is we're starting to get a full bullish engulfing on the weekly. And for me, momentum's looking strong. I'm even looking at Solana, I'll speak about buy zones, but I'm even looking at Solana from here. There's no resistance until the areas of back to around $25. So I think right now, not only news-wise or whatever's happening with Solana, the chart's showing that we're getting a bit of momentum, and this little move should continue for a while longer. I think when we get to these areas, I do think some rejection and maybe possible lower range testing again. But for now, Solana doesn't look like it has much. I want to know what you're saying fundamental-wise on Solana. I think it looks good. Will we know if $8 was the low or not? We'll find out, obviously, in the next few months. But right now, it looks like there's no more resistance. So it looks like it can finally start growing a little bit, because it was scary, bro, because through these times, it was finally making a bit of momentum, and then it was getting crashed and getting crashed and getting crashed. And I think we just want to know, is the FUD over? Can Solana finally have a little bit of time to try recover again and try get its momentum back? And charts showing that there's not much resistance. I'd love to know what you're saying on the fundamental side.
2 weeks, everybody wrote Solana off. Remember that. Everyone just wrote Solana off, and they said it's the end. Alameda was selling tokens that night. The Alameda account was selling tokens that night, and everybody just wrote Solana off. It went to $8.80, I think was the low. It was somewhere around there.
$8.
And I remember thinking to myself, like, I was panicking. I was like, what is wrong? What have I missed? What is the news? I reached out to James from Invest Answers. I'm like, dude, are you watching this? He says, I just bought some more. I reached out to Vinny Lingham. He said to me, I just bought some more, $10. Then I thought, okay, $10, I've got to buy more. I bought more. And then I think 11, I bought 11, I tweeted it. And I said, okay, I said, buy Solana. The truth is that nothing has changed, except the fact that there is an overhang of Alameda tokens, which is now evidently going to take years to clear out because of the FTX liquidator and whatever else. Solana chain is working fine. Projects are launching. Meme coins launched. We had one meme coin launch. There's apparently another meme coin coming up soon, which is launching on Solana. Like it's happening. I mean, it's
okay. So the chart's showing over the next few weeks some 60% growth. We'll focus on sniping some good entries. I think we can get better entries than where we are right now. But I think ultimately it's showing that we should get some growth in Solana over the next 2 months. Some decent momentum, and no more getting a bit of hope and then getting absolutely destroyed. It's showing a 50, 60, 70% growth, over the next few weeks, like not too much, which is good. So finally, the Solana thing's just slowing down, like the FUD and like the Alameda and all these sort of things. So it can start its recovery again. Like you said, it's the same project. It's the same thing. It's the same everything.
Do me a favor. Humor me for 1 second and check the Uniswap chart. Because this
is a big one. This is something that you've mentioned now to me over the last 2-3 weeks. Tell me, have you got bees? Is this a gut?
No,
or so chart is interesting. You speaking about it and you're speaking about thing. Chart is interesting. We are getting to a critical stage just yet. It's showing a little bit more time, possible 2-3 weeks or something like that, so we can get a real serious good breakout. But it's definitely coiling up. It's definitely in a bullish pattern, and it's definitely just slowly making its way up. But the true break is this obviously pattern over here. I'm breaking this
Which is
area.
about 620, right?
620 exactly.
Exactly. That's what I thought.
Tell me what you thought. Yeah.
I must say, I had a holiday. I had a holiday this holiday. I took 2 trades this holiday. The whole holiday, I only took 2 trades. I bought Solana and I bought Uniswap. That's the only 2 tokens that I bought this holiday. The rest of it, I was chilled. I was spending time with the family.
So what's your thought on Uniswap? Because for me, it helps me a lot as well. For, we talk about long term, we talk about this. What is your thoughts on Uniswap, and why do you think if the market moves like this, why do you think it would move? Why do you think it would?
I think Uniswap wins when it comes to DEXs. I think that the price was hit very hard. It went down to like 520 at one point. I didn't get it at 520. I got it at about 540 or 545. To me, Uniswap, you kind of know Uniswap's going to recover. When the market recovers, Uniswap is one of those coiled tokens that's just going to explode. Another one which you got to watch really, really, really carefully is Arweave, because when Solana pumps, Arweave pumps. So when Solana went down, Arweave went down, obviously, because one of the biggest use cases of Arweave is that Solana indexes all its data on, or stores all its data on Arweave.
Yeah, Arweave's are crazy lows, bro. Look at it. That's incredible.
But look at what happened. Just go into a shorter time frame. Go into like a 4 hour or a daily or something. You'll see that it was at like 6 something.
Let's look at yeah. So okay, yeah, it's moved.
Look at
moved definitely quite a bit.
As soon as Solana pumped, the coil just went. Pew. You see?
Okay.
I've got one more of those. But I'm not gonna talk about it now. I'm gonna talk about it on my show. My show. We're gonna talk.
While you are here, what's your thoughts on? Because another huge mover is Lido.
We're going to talk about We're going to talk about Lido on my show today.
Okay,
in fact, join me on my show a bit later. Let's mess around with some fundamentals and technicals. I'm going to talk about a whole lot of tokens. We'll get the charts up. We'll have some fun. My first show of the year coming up in 2 hours and 20 minutes. So if you're on.
Amazing.
See you in a bit.
Okay, bro. So I'll see you just now.
You carry on, brother.
Amazing. Thank you, bro. Okay, guys, we still got a lot. So I'm going to push this quick so we can get all the info out for today. So Lido. If you are in Lido, same thing, guys. I still expect the market to range, but this was a massive move, huge move over here, looking really strong. Hit one resistance straight through it pretty quickly, and we have another one over here. So for me, guys, if I must be honest, I want to say expect, but prep buys here. Like, I'm just getting you into that mindset. Let's look for what's next to move. Similar, like I gave you guys Decentraland and Sand. Now, the next one, Zul, huge one, but hasn't even possibly started. It's a big one. Look at this on the weekly. So for me, definitely hitting some sort of TP areas now. Don't be afraid, because Zul likes to create these crazy candles. And then guess what? They create the big red ones too throughout these times. But get excited for Zul though, because this is a very strong weekly trend that's currently forming. Right now, for me, this is resistance. This is area to take profits, definitely. Until we're outside of this descending wedge, it's not safe. So you can use it as good gains. This was a good 50, 60, 70% move from the bottom. But ultimately, I would take some profits in this area over here. And we do have one more resistance, but that's the one I think we test next. So I think that Zul will possibly, in a higher view, stay in this range for a while. And if you look at this huge range of where we're at, it's big. It's a 200% range. So there's lots of time for us to trade Zul throughout the year and make. And what I'm basically expecting from here is either we do have a slight breakthrough, that's fine. We will buy and retest. So there's time for that. But I'm expecting some sort of rejection here. And then I'm expecting another big move that will take us to those areas. So again, guys, when it comes to Zul, I'm out. I'm out and I'm looking for the next one. And there will be time to buy it back at a better rate. Neo Protocol. See, guys, I just don't want us to get trapped. Be very careful. Nothing's broken these major trends just yet. So same with Neo. Neo's performing extremely well, but ultimately it's showing a slightly a little bit more upside, possibly of around 185, anywhere in those areas. But for me, it's TP. It's TP zones. The next resistance, I think, gets tested on the next leg. So same thing with this. Start working on some TP areas over here. Let's accumulate. Let's be safe. It can break, it can test, we can get back in, or we can reject hard. And right now, this pattern can still show a possible lower low. So be aware of that. We want to make money and take profits into the pumps. Don't get sucked in all of that. Okay. I just want to make sure I've clarified all of this. This is our risk to reward one. I must still post that. And one more thing, just before high time frame, I expect the market to range for a while. And if we look at the very high time frame on the weekly, we still haven't tested these supports on Bitcoin. So, we still got to have that in our mind, that a new lower low is still very possible within this year. Now, let's jump into, I want to see where my smaller tokens are. These are the trades I gave you guys. I gave you guys these trades on New Year's. So if you took the THETA trade, you'd be well off now. And I'm still expecting THETA to go to around the $1. It's not a buy right now, but that one's good. If you got the DOT trade, you're in the money. These are all from New Year's, guys. We can start this year off. I plan on slowing down with calls, but being extremely accurate this year. I've learned a lot throughout these times. But so far, so good. Even Solana through that, and ETH as well, big one. Okay, now I want to see where all my short time frames are, and let's go through these tokens quick to look where everything's at. Next big one for me. Not yet, but I think it's coming next. If I just made money on Solana, I think Solana is going to struggle with the $18 region for now. And I do think higher time frame, like I said, weekly, we can get to the regions of 25. But for me, I'm shifting my scope and my vision to AVAX on the next. Right now, it's hitting resistance. It's a TP for me. But what I'm looking at is one of the next tokens to break a huge trend and do similar to a Solana move is AVAX, because AVAX got destroyed throughout those times. And keep eye on this higher time frame trend over here, which we're approaching soon. I'm expecting the market to go slightly a little bit more up within today. I think it gets rejected on news tomorrow, and then we can possibly get the big break. So keep eye on that one. I saw Chainlink had a strong move. There's our entry. Oh, we had some killer trades, good trades. Chainlink for me is still showing slightly more upside. It's not a buy right now. Buy areas for me around 5.8. It's sort of an area where we've been holding pretty well, and looks like the big guys are keeping Link strong at those areas. I think Link goes another possible 5-6%, and then I think it's time. Now, remember what I spoke about, that your momentum line, right? When you start getting far from your magnet, if you want to call it, it's the same thing. We're starting to get very far from our momentum lines, which means at some point it's going to magnet it back. It's going to pull it straight back to those areas. So be very aware of loading up right now. For me, this is a time for us to make money, and it's a time for us to make quite a bit of tokens throughout these times. And I do expect something like this. I really do. I expect this like choppy up down, but gains to the upside, make a lot of tokens to the downside. Let's speak about DYDX, another trade that I gave. Looking good. I still think that $1 is your accumulating. So this bottom range over here is the area to be loading up some more. I think it will pull back with the market slightly, but ultimately, this is a token that's been doing this for a while. Now, be aware that they do have a huge token unlock. So that can create some downside, and it might even bring us back into this range. But at some point, I am seeing DYDX get back to these areas and complete this range. And, it's basically in 150% range. So for me, only around the $1.1 is the load up areas. I would possibly take profits on DYDX now, because I think they got to unlock. When is the unlock? I think it's actually in 2 weeks. So maybe a little bit more upside, but there's an unlock coming. So be aware of that one. The next one for me is ThorChain. Okay, now ThorChain is interesting. This is a very interesting one. And what it's showing me is, look at the high time frame magnet, the magnet that I've been speaking about, your momentum line. This is the momentum line on ThorChain. Okay, now we've seen ThorChain at many different prices. We've seen it at $1, we've seen it at $10, and we've seen it higher even before. But what it's showing me here is, look how far we are from the momentum line. And many times we go and test. So what I'm basically doing right now, guys, before I jump back into the charts, is I've made up my mind. We spoke about Gala, and we spoke about these, and we got it right. We made good cash. But what I'm expecting now is, I'm not buying today. I'm prepping to buy in a few days. But what am I going to next? And, these ones like Zil and these sort of things, they got a really bad reputation of making tons of gains and then dropping it all off. And if not, making lower and putting you into a loss. So for me, I'm looking at, I've hit these ones great now. What are the next ones? And the one for me is definitely RUNE. definitely ThorChain over here. I am expecting right now it's hitting a short time frame TP to take some profits, definitely. But for me, I'm looking at around 1.3, 1.35 is my accumulating area. And I'm actually going to look to try build a great position, not only a spot position, but a leverage position as well for this momentum move back up to this line over here. I expect we get rejected hard when we get there. But for me, I look at 1.4 now, and I'm looking at, you know, a $4 area back to those. And then same thing. I'm expecting it to do what DYDX is doing, to range, a huge range throughout those times. So keep an eye on ThorChain. It hasn't moved yet, and it's starting to break early trends as we speak. We have THETA looking good. For me, short TPs, I took profits yesterday. So I actually took this account from $9,000 to $18,000. And now I plan on taking it from 18 to 30. That's the 36. And then from 36 to 72. And I'm actually documenting these things for school, you know, for these little businesses. So it's really nice to trade these ranges. So short time frame, small TPs on THETA. But then I think it's going to come to around 73 again. And I think that's a brilliant entry price, because for me, the next target is still 90 cents to $1, which is a 30% move. It's a great accumulation token to use right now. I still think it's going to range in this area for a while, but ThorChain and THETA are my next favorites on the next pullback. I know a pullback's coming. Definitely next big one. TP time, Cardano. Remember, only TPs. I'm not talking about long-term portfolios, guys. Make your decision on what you're holding for the next 2 years. This is more medium term. Let's make money this year. Let's accumulate and let's build this year. So if I'm saying TPs, I'm talking about your trading portfolios. Cardano, TP for me, definitely. That's a big trend. And I think later on we'll get the true breakout. But for me, this is something I want to sell into, make some cash, because I think we'll come back down to the 26 to the 20 cents, if not a lower low. You know, this pattern is still showing lower lows and lower highs. But for me, Cardano is hitting a TP area. Only thing that changes my mind is a break. Cool. Then what it means is a head and shoulders. Be aware of these patterns. You're going to see quite a bit of them. A head and shoulders. And there's time again to get back straight where you got out. No problem. No that. But for me, Cardano is TP'd. Fantom. This is a big one, guys. This is one I want you to really focus on getting a badass entry on the next pullback. Now, the next pullback for me, I think it's going to hit quite a bit of resistance in these areas over here. And I'm pretty much looking at a rejection soon for those areas. But then what I'm looking at from here is a pullback to around the 22, 23 cents. And then I think it's a perler entry. I really think it's a great entry because this is now breaking a long daily trend. And from here, we have a huge roadmap. We have a huge laddering system that we're going to focus on. We're going to get in and out of Fantom many times along this journey. It's not just a hold anymore. Possibly if you want to hold, you know, if you believe in it over 2-3 years, I just don't trust the market anymore. I don't trust holding something for 2-3 years anymore unless it's Bitcoin or ETH, because something just changes or someone lies or something, then my money's stuck and I can't get it out. So right now I'm really much accumulating. But for me, Fantom is huge. You know, the next roadmaps are 30 cents, 40 cents. You know, these are good 100%, 50% moves, if not bigger. You know, if you can use this stage to not only accumulate 50% dollars per move, and then accumulate 30% tokens. And you can ultimately use this whole area over here to accumulate another 200-300% more Fantoms throughout these times. And then we only break the major one. And the major one is the break of these two highs over here. And these two highs over here shows us a humongous gap over here. And ultimately, I want to try load and build as much in this time of this portfolio for this move over here that takes us up to these areas. Because then that's another huge one. Ultimately, you can be looking at accumulating double to triple amount of tokens throughout the stage. As I said, it's going to take time. You know, this is showing until April, till May. So there's a lot of time for you to. So what I would do is I would actually get really good at charting Fantom. I would take the daily or the 12-hour and I'll use a stochastic and I'll just use like 2 or 3 tools and get it really good at just accumulating tokens. And like, don't focus your blinkers on tons of altcoins. Like, you know, I would focus on this for this big move. And that's how it works to make money in a bull run, guys, is to use these times to get as much stuff and coins as you can, because it's getting really hard. And when the critical stages come, you know, you're looking at 120% from there to there, and then you're looking at 300% back to the tops again. So I like to use these grinding phases to really master the understanding of this token and what tools to use and build as many of it for the big reward day. So this is all the grind. That's the huge reward. And ultimately this, if you trade this right and you get that pump, ultimately this is a move that can change your life completely. So Fantom, be aware, it's going to be a really interesting, fun token to trade. Nakamoto, guys, who got it? We got it around 5 cents. There's still my entries. That was when I was telling you guys to buy. When was I telling you guys? October. 5 cents. We literally caught the bottom like to the T. That's a great one. And now it's flying. So gaming is moving right now. No buys, guys. No buys. Buys are around about 8-7 cents again if we get them. But if you're looking at it, guys, you can TP if you want. I do have some for the long time frame. It's a very, very small percentage of my portfolio. But I want to remind you again, if this thing pulls back and you get another 50% move, do some research on it. Japanese gaming company. But for me, this is one that basically turns, I put 10,000, disclaimer, I put $10,000 in it at 5 cents. So it's around about $20,000, $24,000, $25,000 now. It's an 85x back to all-time high now. And if you get it around 5 to 6 cents, it's 185x back to all-time high. So I decided to put a small part of my portfolio in there. And ultimately, if it does go to all-time high, I might take profits a lot earlier. But if it does go to all-time high, you know, I'll make $1.8 to $2 million on that move. So remember, small caps, you're allowed to take risks and higher things. Use profits to do so. But you know, find ones and stick to them. Don't diversify too much throughout these. You know, it is gambling. It is higher thing. But I believe in them. I think they're going to do good. So pay attention. No buys, guys. Definitely no buys now. It's way too expensive. Crypto.com and obviously Gala Games. So, guys, I'm going to specify. I'm going to work the rest of the week on trades, and we're gonna just kill it this year. For now, I just want to teach you guys again. The market's going to range for a while. Don't get into this hype mode. It's bull run right now. It's not. It's accumulating, and the market is just has a huge ass range that we can take a lot of advantage over throughout these times. So stick in that mindset. Take profits on the pump, especially your trading portfolios. Take profits. Let's buy and accumulate tokens, and let's continue considerably for the next few months.
I see a lot of comments asking about the school. So this week they'll get a mail whether they're in, if they're out.
Yeah. So if for the school guys, you will get a mail if you're in or you're out this week. And then the next one starts early Feb. So the next one, but the one after that starts early Feb. So yeah, guys, I'm going to do 100,000 students this year. That's my goal. That's my goal. So there's lots of time. You'll get it. But I also want to I'm going to make these shows fantastic again. I'm going to make them really alpha again. I'm going to teach you guys on the days when the market's boring, and we're going to trade when the markets are pumping and dumping and whatever it is. So guys, have a fantastic day. I missed you all. Thank you all. Smash the love, smash the subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next show. Much love.
Let's just quickly chat with Jay and the